This is what you came to see, so let's hop right into it. This is a G80 M3 2023, you said?
Yep, 2023
LCI. Listen, off the rip, off the get-go, you feel how put together this car is compared to the F Series and the E Series. It's a whole different game. And you feel that from the moment you turn on the car, from the moment you accelerate, from the moment you first brake the car. You know, you brake. Use your brakes. Come on, guys. Don't break the car. But, she's very torquey from the moment you press the pedal. From the moment you press the pedal, she's very torquey. And you might think, oh, it's an M car, why does it have so many screens? Guys, it's an immersive experience. From a very outside point of view, from a point of view where you're not sitting in the vehicle, you might think it's gimmicky. Guys, it makes the biggest difference. And to add on to this, not only can you use this as a sports car, it really feels like a daily. The suspension is doing a great job of handling New York roads. And for you guys that live in the East Coast, the Northeast Coast, you guys know how terrible our roads are. And she's doing a great job of handling this. Now talking about one of the most controversial parts of this car, the bucket seats. Guys, it's over-exaggerated. It's not uncomfortable at all. I feel very comfortable in this seat. I feel very put together. It is a sports car at the end of the day. Plus, you're not sacrificing anything by getting the bucket seats. The comfort seats, all right, they're cool. Maybe if you're a bigger guy, literally a bigger guy. I'm not trying to body shame anybody. But I'm sitting at 230 right now, 6'2", and I fit perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. If not, I feel more comfortable in this car than my 435. This car is no joke. And coming from the 435 to this car, I'm also driving the F80, my boy's F80, single turbo F80. This has some different punch to it. It's a different type of acceleration. The F80 single turbo is more of a you know, build boost. It kicks in, it punches you in your face. The 435 is very similar. This is very linear. I feel like throughout the whole rev range, it's pulling. And again, if you guys don't know Amen, his car is stock and not tuned, but still tosses you back in the seat. And this is exhilarating to drive. Exhilarating in stock form, stock suspension, stock tune. This is a car. This is a sports car. This is a full package. And I think that's the biggest difference. You have the xDrive now. You have 500 horsepower to the wheels. I believe it's like 480, that's what people get. But let's say 500 to the wheels. Endless amount of tuning capability. And all the luxury you could want. The screens, the lighting. And just like that, it goes back to being a normal car that you could maybe, that you could just have. Let me see, let's turn off M1. Look at that. You can have a regular conversation. You can just enjoy it now, enjoy the suspension travel, and have a relaxed day. Go on a cruise, an actual cruise, not a Mexico cruise. Now, speaking about the xDrive specifically, this induces confidence on corners, just on straight pulls. You have no doubt in your mind that you can probably make the turn, take the corner as fast as you want. That might be a problem for new drivers, but for experienced drivers, it induces confidence, and that's all you want. And I'm pretty sure that has to do something with the keys carbon fiber strut brace out in front. Shout out to keys. But as well as having the xDrive, the best thing about it is that you have two-wheel drive. Let's see, is he gonna give it to me? There we go, two-wheel drive, and that is what? 5 seconds, 2 seconds to put it on. So not only is the car a great driver's car, let's talk about the trim. First off, the steering wheel. Carbon everywhere, on the paddles, on every single button, coming down here. It's also a heated steering wheel for you guys that live in the cold like we do. Carbon is all over the vehicle, by the way. All over the vehicle. And can we just speak about how gorgeous this ivory interior is? And you guys don't really get to see much of it with this POV right here, but if you look around, it's just surrounding you, and it's more than just sporty, it's elegant. And that's the type of luxury we've been looking for in BMW for a while. So this is Amen. He is the owner of this beautiful G80 M3. So now we're gonna jump into the 4 for 4 section. 4 things you like, 4 things you dislike, go.
All right, so 4 things I like about the car. One of the biggest things, xDrive. Not only xDrive, but xDrive and two-wheel drive. From what JD showed you guys, you can literally jump from xDrive to two-wheel drive in like the push of a button. I mean, you get literally the best of both worlds. Insane launches with xDrive, donuts, and drifts with two-wheel drive. Not that I do that, but I'm just saying, look at that right over there. Look at that. That wasn't me. All right, something else. Carbon buttons. These seats. Although it's a sedan, it's a sports car. These seats, when you're driving on windy roads, hug you in. They look amazing. I mean, just look at this. Get a nice view of the carbon fiber back. Even when it's dirty, it looks amazing. Also, one of the best things about having a sedan, you can just open up the door. Unlike the G82. That's my opinion. But yeah, these seats are absolutely amazing. But Mike, you suck, Mike. These seats are amazing. I think they're well worth the money. They look amazing. They hold you in. They're not as uncomfortable as people make them out to be. Like JD said, unless like you're a bigger person, no body shaming, but you might struggle with them. Other than that, I think they're amazing. The next thing, the screen. The Jumbotron. This screen, people knock on it. Listen, it's a modern car. You're gonna get modern features like that. If you want an old school analog screen, get like an E92 M3, you know? But on a modern car like this, I think the screen looks absolutely amazing. It has such like a, it has like the spaceship kind of vibe to it. I love it. When you have like your maps on there, anything like that, the fact that you can change from like sport to track or road and like the whole thing changes. I love it. I think it's absolutely amazing. I actually really wanted to make sure that I got the 2023, which had the screen, as opposed to any gen or any year before that, because they had the smaller ones, which to me just makes the car feel a little older. This makes it feel new. And now the last thing is the space. So obviously this might be like a controversial thing, but with the G chassis 3 Series and M3s, they made them a little bigger. So I know some people don't like that because, you know, it's a bigger car, it's a sports car. But again, if you want something smaller, get an E46. That's what I think. But this car, the space is really helpful. I'm a family man. I've had 2 car seats in the back of this car at times. And let me just say, the back seat of this car is super spacious. I also have an F30, and I can tell you that definitively this car feels way more spacious in the back seat, whether you have an adult sitting back there, whether you have a car seat. Now, if you guys are a family person, you know what I'm talking about when I say this, but in my F30, when I put a car seat behind my driver's seat, especially when you have 2, because if you only have 1, you can put it on the other side, so if you have 2, you have 1 behind you. My F30, I have to pull my seat forward so I can drive. This car is so nicely, like, just spacious, if that makes sense, that I could literally have a car seat behind my seat and still be my normal driving position. Part of that might be because of the carbon buckets being a little slimmer, but doesn't matter. It's more spacious, and I love it. So, 4 things that I hate. We're gonna start off with the sound. This car, unfortunately, does not sound the best. From factory, it sounds very quiet, has a whole bunch of resonators, has a massive muffler. I get why BMW has to do that, but I just don't like the way it sounds. And unfortunately, even with an exhaust and stuff like that, I've never really heard one that I'm like, oh, that sounds good. It just doesn't, even modified, I just don't think it sounds that. It sounds more aggressive. It could sound a lot better, but it doesn't have the same tone as the F55 or what's the E92, S52,
S65.
S65, or the S. Those two engines sound amazing. This one does not sound great, but it's a great engine. Doesn't sound the best. The next thing I don't like is the brake dust. So unfortunately, I did not get the carbon ceramic brakes. That was one of the options that I excluded on this car. Otherwise, this car is pretty specced out. I didn't get the carbon ceramics because, straight up with you guys, it was like almost 10 grand for brakes that, I don't know. I'm just not gonna spend 10 grand on. I'll get an E46 like project car for 10 grand instead of just brakes. But this car does not have the carbon ceramics, so it has the steel brakes. As you guys can tell, there's brake dust for days. It just accumulates so much brake dust from these brakes. If you get the carbon ceramics, you don't really have to deal with that. But unfortunately, these brakes just accumulate so much brake dust. Such beautiful wheels, but the brake dust ruins them. And then the other thing is, there's such intricate wheels that they're a pain to clean properly. So not only does it accumulate brake dust so much, but then it's also a massive pain to clean the wheels because there's such detailed and intricate wheels. So most of the time, the car looks like this. That's okay. It's kind of a bummy M3. Doesn't matter. All right, so the next thing is a funny one. So part of the executive package which this car has, you get an electronic trunk, which is really convenient at times. But in terms of closing it, it's kind of silly to me. So if you want to open up the trunk, you press that button, or you press it on your key, it opens up, which is great. If you want to close it, you have to press this button. This is gonna sound really silly, but to me, like, why do I need that? Just take the trunk, slam it like a man, and call it a day. Like, you don't want to, like, the trunk is right here. Why do you have to press on a button and then watch it move so slow? Like, look at this. The next and last thing of the list that I hate, and by the way, I gotta clarify, this car's amazing. These things that I hate are very minor, nitpicky things, but he's making me pick things that I hate, so please don't hate on me in the comments. Or you can, that's fine too. The next thing that I dislike about this car is the speakers. So this car comes with the carbon cardan. I think you actually can't get a G80 with the base speakers, the unnamed or whatever speakers they are. But this car, to kind of give you guys some insight, was $97,000 as it was spec. That's a lot of money for a BMW. Some will argue too much money for a BMW and an M3. Speakers to me feel pretty similar to like the basic speakers. Again, $97,000 car, pretty much 100 grand. You'd expect better speakers, but it is what it is. They could be better.
So taking a quick look at the exterior of the G80 M3. Now starting at the back, this design from the back is flawless if you ask me. The whole design as a whole was very controversial when the car first came out, but these quad tips do complement the vehicle very nice. The quad tips have become a staple for all M cars, starting with the E46 M3. With every new generation of BMW vehicle, these tips just get bigger and bigger. We can't be mad at that. Now taking our attention to the side of the vehicle, as you can see, BMW made this car very aggressive, giving it some pronounced hips that are seen from any angle of the car. And moving to the front of the vehicle, something that was very controversial on this vehicle is the front end. As expected, it has grown on everybody, mostly with the eyes of this vehicle, the laser lights. The controversy was surrounded by the pig nostril-like grills that BMW had included on this vehicle. But as you can see on A-Man's car, Keys does a great job with their carbon fiber grille, giving the car a sportier look by just changing the stock grills for a CS look. And honestly, in my opinion, the hood is one of the most beautiful things on this car with those indentations. Now let's take a look at the interior of the vehicle. Ivory interior is one of the most gorgeous interiors I've ever laid my eyes on. The combination of ivory interior with the carbon buckets and just the design that BMW has gone for in this new LCI G80, it is gorgeous. Taking a step back to appreciate how A-Man spec'd this car, sapphire black metallic with ivory interior makes the car not only sporty but elegant. Previously, I've owned an E90, an E-Series generation, and an F36 and F-Series. The materials in the G-Series have been improved so much, it is not even a joke. Just by looking at the vehicle interior, you can tell it's been stepped up, and nothing like this has been done by BMW in the past. While making it luxurious, adding carbon fiber everywhere. Not only can you find it on your steering wheel, but on every piece of this vehicle. Anywhere you look, you can see carbon fiber. Anywhere in this car. They did not shy away from adding carbon fiber to the whole vehicle. While adding carbon fiber, they also stepped it up while adding leather everywhere, having the sense of this car being luxurious, a statement of the interior. When comparing to an F80, the door cards on the G80 are a step up. Leather everywhere, soft touch materials everywhere, it's something we all wanted for the longest. If anything, this is expected from BMW for charging about 100 grand for this M3, which is insane for a 3 Series. Now, they added ambient lighting, they added soft touch plastics everywhere, and they just made it look amazing. And as a safety precaution, this safety strip of ambient lighting, when someone is coming from behind, does illuminate red to let them know to proceed with caution. Jumping into the carbon fiber seats, as you get used to it, it is easier to get in, but closing the door does have a nice sound to it closing. This Jumbotron screen is a game changer, boys. Yes, from an outside perspective, you might think that it's not, but it is. But again, everything here is nice to touch. The headliner, the ambient lighting in the vehicle, everything is amazing, and everything is put together in a way only BMW knows how to do. Now, the center console, as you can see, many buttons were deleted, but it does make the layout of the vehicle way more simple. Now, hate if you want to, and hate if you want to be old school and analog, and that's your preference. But BMW's approach to a modern sports car in a 3 Series sedan is something to be amazed about. From the Jumbotron, to the steering wheel, to the way they just make you feel in the cabin. Yes, there are extra buttons to press to get things done, and we can't be mad about that. But again, this is a sports car, and honestly, if you're driving, the only buttons you should be pressing is either M1 or M2. Now, what BMW has done is combine luxury, sportiness, with an amazing driver experience, and that we have to be grateful for. First off, I want to say thank you to A-Man for letting me see his car, drive his car, review it, and actually get an actual real person impression. Nothing pushed on anybody by a dealership or a brand. But boys and girls, anything in between, meaning cats and dogs, rats, parrots, giraffes. This is what I consider to be the ultimate M3. Start off, we have xDrive. This xDrive system is rear-wheel drive bias, and you do feel that. But it does induce confidence in corners, in acceleration, and anything in between driver experience-wise. Now, the tech is out of this world. This Jumbotron screen, it is bashed on by a lot of people, but I loved it. I think it gives you a video game feel. I think it gives you that spaceship feel, like A-Man said. But it suits the power of this car, and that's the third one. The power stock. Guys, stock. This is fun out the box, linear performance, linear acceleration, and it just throws you into your seat. What more can you want from a sporty sedan? And last but not least, the interior, the amount of space in here, the luxury you feel being in this cabin. It is put together correctly. It is put together in a manner where it just feels right. From the steering wheel to the leather to the carbon trim, anything you can imagine in this car does not feel cheap, does not feel like it was an afterthought. This car is amazing in all aspects. So this is why my final verdict on this car is ultimate M3. I think BMW is doing a great job going back to the ultimate driver experience, and this is a great start.